that smiling face, all right? Well, Debbie, I see you there. That's good. John's on. Okay, Aaron, so how are we looking?
Ready to go, ready to rock and roll.
All right, we're gonna get started and people will continue to filter in. And first and foremost, we want to welcome McKelvey Homes. They are here as a group, and food provided in the break room provided by them. So how about it for these folks? You got a big crowd online today, it seems like, which is okay. So in our office, we often have 35, 40 folks in our office here in the meeting, and then we have another 25 to 30 online. So we have a pretty strong online presence, which is great. And thank you guys for being here today as well. We know it's the day after a holiday. We know it's a little bit weird. So we wanted to go through a couple things. First thing, we've got our top 150. And I think I'm going to go ahead and run through that if that's good with you, Aaron. Okay, perfect. And we want to congratulate these folks. If you're at home, if you're here in the office, it's kind of a big deal. So number 141, Jen, and hold your applause till we'll go through the whole list. We have a lot in the top 150, big deal. 141, Jen Combe. 112, Debbie Carter, and I know you're smiling at me right on there, Debbie. 109, Jody Parrish. 70, Beverly LaCueva. 45, Miracle Johnson. And number 8, and it's amazing how often Kathy and her team land on number 8 or above. 4 to 8 is about where Kathy lands. So it's an amazing group of people that landed on the top 150. You know, when you have 2,000 folks and you're in the top 150, I'd say you're in pretty good shape. So how about a round of applause for those guys? It's a big deal. Big deal to be there, and congratulations on that. Is Lexi here today? Not yet? Okay, all right. All right, Aaron, talk a little bit about education.
Yep, I'm on. Okay, so I'm just gonna focus on 2 that are highlighted. Kristen, if you want to pull the slides up, there's one that's gonna happen tomorrow. It's create your 2023 marketing plan. So I know we've been talking about business planning and all of that, and now, you know, you can concentrate on your marketing. So that's tomorrow at 10. And then there's another class, Friday at 9, digital mastermind series, the mix to gain followers and keep them engaged. So that's social media followers. So again, focusing on social media, getting those followers engaged. So I thought those were great options for you. And then the agent training this week, it's today at 11, and we're going to talk about business planning. So if you haven't done anything yet on business planning, then please join me. We'll be in the conference room. You know, the long conference room in the back, because pre-license is across the hall. So we'll be there today at 11. And that class is only in person today. They're not doing virtual.
Okay, so come on in. Let's get here by 11 o'clock. Right now, how about it, Andy House? Come on down.
Hello.
You can stand here if you wish.
All right, so today I'm going to talk a couple of incentives that we've been doing for a long time, but I wanted to give everybody a refresher. So VA loans, we still are doing no lender fee VA loans, which means that the $14.90 in lender fees that would be charged on a VA loan, or any loan for that matter, is waived on those situations. So those VA fees are still continuing to be waived.
Funding?
No, not the funding fee. It's just lender fees. You still have to pay escrows, title, and then.
Nice thought, though. Nice thought, though.
But it does save them some money, and we don't hit them on rate on that. So it's not like we're going, hey, here's some free fees, but we're going to raise your rate on that. It's a legitimate no funding fee, or no fees, lender fees on those. See, Chris has got me saying funding. And then secondly, we still do MHDC. For those of you who don't know what that is the state of Missouri's program that gives 3% towards down payment and closing costs. You can do that on a conventional, you can do a VA, or you can do an FHA loan with those. So any of those loan types will qualify. They have to be a first-time buyer, which means that they can't have owned a home in the last 3 years. So if they haven't owned a home in the last 3 years, they can be a first-time buyer or qualify for a first-time buyer program. And then rates on that, rates are a little bit higher, but then again, the state of Missouri is giving them free money. So they have to, take that benefit with a little bit there. So, and then we do now have a program. It's for first-time buyers. It's a conventional program, but what it does is on a conventional loan, if you had a lower credit score, you used to get hit with what they call rate add-ons or fee add-ons. So your rate might be higher if you have a 630 credit score than what you did if you had a 780 credit score. This program waives all of those pricing add-ons. So somebody with a 630, if they qualify, would get the same rate as somebody with a 6 or 780 score. So this one is huge because a big difference is I had somebody that went last week from a 6.5% interest rate to a 6.125. So that was a huge difference to them and to anybody, and payment wise, that's a big difference. So if you have anybody, that's a first time buyer looking to do a conventional loan, that could be a big game changer there as well. So why do I hear myself? All right. Does anybody have any questions on any of that? Yes, ma'am. I got the microphone here, so.
I just want to really stress how great Andy does VA loans. And if any of you have done VA loans with some of those VA companies that don't do a very good job, we always suggest, even if it's somebody from the other side, that they may want to check with someone who does VA loans really well. And we've switched them over. They go through great, they get the benefits, and they're not taken advantage of by those companies that use the word veteran in their names.
Thank you. Shaw and John had a customer, I don't know, it was a month ago. They came and Shaw called me and she says, I have someone for you. Well, it was the buyer of one of their villas. And she basically told them that the seller wanted them to use me or they weren't going to use.
We said, didn't want them to use the other.
Right. That's what I mean. They didn't want them to use, I'm sorry. They didn't want them
This is okay.
to use the other companies and they preferred they speak to someone else and they had a great recommendation and we closed that one really quick and got them done and they were ecstatic and actually they're supposed to be referring me. I spoke to them the other day. They're referring me a family member. So thank you for that. I appreciate that. But yeah, if you guys have any questions on that, let me know. Anybody else have any questions on that? MHDC, US or VA, anything else? Bueller? Nothing? All right.
David, did you have any questions or are you good?
Where's the one?
What did he say when it was coming? I heard
Yeah.
you.
All right.
Andy's the greatest.
Thank you. All right. That's all I
right,
got.
We're good. Good. Give that to Aaron because we'll be passing that right off to McKelvey Homes. So right now, I think we want to jump in and introduce Clyde and his group. So let me talk a little bit about new homes. So years ago, and I go way back, we have had an opportunity really to have the new homes department in this building. So as a result, we often years ago had builders come in. How many can remember when every single Tuesday there would be a luncheon at one of the new home subdivisions? Do you guys remember that? Literally every Tuesday, David would take us on tour because he was tour director. We would go out and we would go to one of the many builder luncheons because that was the norm back then. Well, then I guess a little maybe prior to COVID, I don't know, I'd say around COVID it came and we stopped doing that, of course, going out to a builder luncheon, but we also stopped having the builders come in as often as they used to. And it just kind of changed. This is an evolution of so many things are changing in our industry. And this has been one. So now really for the first time in many, and I'm talking years, we have now had for the first time a builder come in who is going to present their product nicely. Brought a wonderful food and drink for you guys to have. But in the meantime, I think the issue is we're kind of back into this and I'm loving that they are here in force to make a presentation about their product. And then as we move on, we want to have them back again and again and other builders as well, because it's good for our knowledge base. The more you know, the better you can serve and represent your folks. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and have any of you come and stand. If you stand to this side of this machine, they will be able to see you at home and we'll give you the mic as well. All right, so thank you so much for being here. How about a welcome from McKelvey? All right, anything that side of that thing, we'll pick you up. So right on the street.
Okay, good morning all. I'm Charlie Zaney, and standing next to me is Clyde Oliver, who again arranged for us to come in here this morning. And he is in charge of one of our newest communities, and we'll have him talk a little bit later, about that, if you don't mind. Okay, all right, unless you want to say something now.
No, just I do remember this building because years ago I was in New Homes with Gundecker and so was Charlie. So we both remember working from upstairs, but it's been about 30 years.
Okay, all right, great.
Oh,
Okay, yeah.
I'm gonna
All
give
right.
you guys an extra mic. Just because you can pass, it's easier to do too than
Oh,
pass it back and forth.
First off, Clyde brought back memories. I started with Gundecker Realtors back in 1978, the 10-year anniversary. And is one of the first people in the new homes department that they had here. And new homes was my passion. And what I learned from Gundecker and the team has really helped in my career in new home sales. First off, I want to remind everybody, we'll be passing around, put your card, we'll have a drawing later on when we conclude. And again, I appreciate you bringing us in. And we are very realtor friendly at McKelvey Homes. And not only are we glad that you let us into your office and have a few moments with you, we also invite you out to our communities. It's something we have started up again. We do have luncheons in our communities now. And we do send out those kinds of notices to do that. And also something that's very popular with the realtor community, we do have some new construction 101 to explain the process of how we build homes. Questions you may have, we have one of our superintendents there to explain things. Also, our sales team there to say, how do you sell new homes? It's a little bit different than your brokerage. We do have market homes always ready and available for people that need quick closings, but also explain the process that if somebody wants to build, how that works. And then again, to educate you on how that works, time frame, and so on like that. So we'd be glad to schedule one for this office if you all desire to do that. And we can do it for a small team or a large team at one of our communities. First off, talking about longevity, this is our 125th anniversary of McKelvey Homes. We are the oldest builder in St. Louis. Back when James McKelvey started the company, builders did everything. You see them, they did the grading, they did the sewer work. They also built the homes. They also did commercial. So it was a well. So again, we want to do something special for our 125th anniversary. So we are celebrating by giving $18,980 off of options. And we arrived at that number. That is our founding year of the company. So on any new home at McKelvey Homes, that for the month of January, we are giving away $18,980 off in free options. Next. And to go even better, on any market home we have, whether it's near completion or under construction, it is a market home because we have some at foundation. We have a little bit over 20 market homes under construction. It is something we have done throughout in pandemic. When things were a little bit slower, we continued to build homes because we know realtors have out-of-town people who have waited to sell their homes and they needed something quickly. So on any market home we have, and you can call this ready to go, you're going to save the $18,980. Plus, we have a special buy down financing 2-1. So it starts your first year payment at $3,836. Okay. And then it's a 30-year fixed rate that we buy the interest rate down to 2-1 buy down on that. In addition to that, through the Carpenters Union, we're able to offer a certificate for $2,500 towards closing costs. So it's quite a package on any market home we have in our community. And we'll be handing out flyers to everyone that will list all of our market homes. Like I say, it's over 20 market homes that are either near complete or under construction in all of our communities. This is giving you a little bit of history. Established back in 1898, founded by James McKelvey, the third generation, Jim McKelvey. Jim Brennan bought the company in 2000. So this is the 23rd year that it's been under the leadership of Jim Brennan. For those that know him, he's again fits very well with the McKelvey brand. He does what he says he's going to do and stands behind everything that we do. And Jim is bringing up the next generation of his family. Those are his three sons, Phil, Patrick, and Charlie Brennan. They all work in the company. So again, it's a very family-owned company, and we're well established here in the St. Louis area. Next, please. Okay, why McKelvey? Okay, one of the things that we have done, and it has served us well through the economic upturns and downturns, is prime locations. We'll spend a little bit more for the prime locations because we figure no matter what happens to the economy, we will sell homes. And it's also something that when our customers buy a home, they will have a home that is that will do very well in any market. Superb designs is something we work on all the time, and we're constantly fine tuning what we have. Unrivaled reputation, like I said earlier, Jim Brennan stands behind his word is his bond. And it's something that is very strong within him. There's many a times when the economy was really bad, we had a community that basically the sales shut down. Like many builders, they threw the keys on the desk of the bank and said, it's yours. Not Jim Brennan. When we start a community, we finish a community. In fact, banks have come to us during some of those downturns and said, will you take over various projects? Because we know they knew we were well funded, we're not over leveraged, and then we took them forward. But it was difficult at times to do it, but we finished every community we have started. Quality, we'll put our quality up against anyone. We put a lot of things in the home that people don't see, but then helps their value long term. You can drive through any of our communities many years later, and you will see how they will compare to maybe some of the other communities where things were done a little bit differently. Personal service. Jim Brennan used to go to every closing, and that's not unheard of for most builders. When COVID hit, the title companies wouldn't let him in. Okay, so he started a new practice. He called every customer after that closing and asked, how did we do? And he calls it the good, bad, and the ugly. He wants to know everything that happened, you know, like if it was a good experience, an okay experience, or you had an issue. And it's something that we always strive to be a little bit better. So all the time is every customer that we have gets his personal cell phone number. And so if, again, at any time, whether it's customer service after they close, and we're not living up to the standards, he wants to know about it. And again, I don't know of any other builder in St. Louis that does that. And this gives you a list of current locations, and it'll be on some material that will be handed out. You know, we're in St. Charles and also in St. Louis County. Start off with in St. Charles location, Summerlin. Summerlin is on DD and Summers Road, and there's 80 homes going in there. They start in the upper 300s. It's our Liberty series. This is a fairly new series for us, and it has been received very well. These homes can fit on narrower home sites than our designer series and our luxury series. And so we have 80 homes going in there, and we have 2 different size home sites. Half the community, we can build them with 2-car garages to fill the home site. And then we also have half the home sites will fit a 3-car garage. So it gives that customer what's most important to you. Is it, you know, you need to come in at a certain price, you pick the 2-car garage, you don't want a big yard, you don't need the 3-car garage, or if you want a little bit bigger yard, we've got the space to do the 3-car garage in there. It's located basically between two schools. Just to, you see that little cutout up there on the left, upper left-hand side? That is a junior high school right there. So the kids can take the trails through the community and enter in right there at the end of that cul-de-sac. There's a gate there where they can go walk to school. That's been a big draw for many people. And then going to the right there, there's maybe about 200, maybe 200, 300 feet there. And then it opens up to the grade school right there, so kids can walk to school. Again, a big draw. And just down the road on Summers Road is the high school. So it's very convenient for that. And it's been very popular because of the location. You can see we don't cram all the homes in there. We've got a lake with a fountain in it. We've got a trails going through the system as well as around. And then there's a gazebo meeting area back where you have the gang mailboxes that are now required by the postal service. And so it gives a little bit of a community feel to all of our communities. Okay, go to the next one. Inverness. This is a community in Dardenne Prairie. And this gives you the scope of it. If you look at the little bit of a shaded area going up through there, you notice the configuration of all in there. The village at Dardenne Prairie said we want something very special for us to get approved in this area because they say they are the Ladue of St. Charles County. So we brought in an outside land planner and he designed this. And you notice there's not a straight street anywhere in this community. A lot of curves going around. And what he calls, and there's trails running through there. And we have variable setbacks, which again is very unusual that you see anywhere in St. Louis. So on some of the streets or some of the homes, they're at the normal setback, which is 32 feet from the curve. Other homes on the curves, you'll through there, they're set back 65 feet. The sidewalks will meander through there and actually will come through there. So it creates a park-like setting in the front. So it's a very unique experience there. It's been very, very, very well perceived. And Rick Harris designed this. I think he's out of Minneapolis. And he's done this all across the country. No two homes are directly across the street from each other. Same way with backyards. Everything is offset a little bit in this community. It has gone over very well. We're basically the only thing remaining in phase 1, phase 2. We have 4 market homes. Now 3. We just sold one last night. Okay. And that will finish out phase 2. So now we are in the grand opening of phase 3. And in here we have 58,
but only 54 remaining.
right, 58. And okay, and this is Sandy Wagner back here. She is our community sales manager in this community and is available for any questions that we have after this. Because not only do we have the 3 market homes there, we're starting 2 market homes in this section here. It'll have a 2-acre lake, fountain, again, trails that all connect through the community, can go back in through phase 1, phase 2. And this is sort of what we call a golf cart friendly community. The trails take you all the way back and connect back into Lake Forest, right on the other side of the street. And where and people are familiar, it's a golf community over there. And with every home that's purchased in Inverness, included is a 1-year free social membership that they can enjoy because there's a pool and everything, restaurant that people can from the community go. And there is quite a few golf carts in our homes. So the oversized garages really help there to do that. And it's been very, very popular. So this is just running through a few things we have in Inverness. Our LaSalle display at Inverness. It's a 2,800 square foot ranch. And since we are going to be building a new display over in phase 3. So this home is on the market, has a finished lower level. And I believe the price on that is like $998. Okay, so we've got quite a price range that goes on in this community here. We go from starting base price 507, and we have homes over $1 million in this community. And this, you can sort of see the street back, how the setbacks work there, going on that, the curve there, how the homes are closer. The normal setback that you are used to in communities to where go across the street, see how far they're set back from the rest of the homes there. Rick Harrison calls this prefurbia. That's the term he uses, and it's been very popular in various places all across the country. This is the first one in St. Louis. Go on. The Preserve. This is in St. Louis County, Mackenzie and Watson Road, for those that are familiar with this. This is a large community. Took us over 3 years to get this through St. Louis County. Part of that was COVID. A lot of the people in St. Louis County weren't working. Okay, so, but we worked through everything like that. And this is the premier community in St. Louis County. There are 4 different villages here. McKelvey Homes is building 3 of them. There's another builder that is in here, Fisher Homes. They have 1 section that they're building in here. Everything else is McKelvey Homes. If you look through the streetscape there, as it goes through, 1 entrance in, the lot of common ground. There are 4 lakes. They'll be stocked for fishing. There are gardens through here. There's butterfly gardens. There's a bird sanctuary. It's all created about nature, trying to fit in with nature. And again, back into, we didn't want to cram a bunch of homes in this special location. So we did something that was very unique. And once we got this thing going, presented it to everybody, the St. Louis County has really embraced this. Sam Page was there for our ribbon cutting that we just had recently with Santa Claus. There's gardens all the way through here, and the trails. There's our 3 sections. If you want to, we've got villas. These are detached villas, but with them you have exterior maintenance that you pay a monthly fee to take care of. So people that don't want to cut grass, trim the bushes, shovel their snow, this is for you. Okay. And the Mackenzie display, we just opened this up about a month ago. So that's a brand new display. And then going to the Glen. This display we opened up about 4 months ago. And we're in the final phase of selling out the Glen. There's just a few opportunities remaining in there. So we have 4 or 5 remaining, going there, including the display is for sale. The estates. This was the last section we just opened up. Andy Baber, standing back over here, is our community sales manager there. Our display, we plan to open that up by mid-February. That display will be open. That is our designer series that we're building there, and the homes in that section. And this, again, this will give you an aerial view of this. The Glen homes are the ones you see coming down there. The villas are off to the left, and then as you go cross over the creek back there, you see that area back there without a lot of homes on it. That's the estates. A lot of common ground in there. It has been very popular. It also, one section of it backs up to Tower T back there, so they get, there's that golf course, driving range, back in there. In addition to the common ground we put in that community, and there's 23 acres that the Archdiocese owns, and they're leaving that as a preservation area also. And that backs up to our homes back in the estates. This is brand new community we have in West County, and Clyde Oliver is our community sales manager there. And this is, again, a very unique community. It's mixed use. There's townhomes, apartments, condominiums, single family homes. We are the only single family homes in this development, as well as retail, office, restaurants are all planned on this site. And if you look at this, this is the streetscape that we put in there. When we were approached by the developer and they said, would we build here? This is a very unique location. I mean, we jumped on it. And we went into high gear, developing brand new product to build. You can see a very modern streetscape that's going in there. And we call it the waterfront. Oh, go back to that, please. But you notice the fronts of these, we have outdoor living in the front of the homes. And the reason we did that is because with one, it fits in with the modern design. And then two, the fronts of the homes on both streets face a lake. So we figured the one is a 16-acre lake that's on the property. On the other side, where there's the Chesterfield YMCA, is the city park. And there's a lake over there and beautiful woods and so on. This area is unique, as you can see through here. Not only is there trails through the community around the lake, but also Chesterfield has a very extensive trail system and it connects to those trails. So you can get around just about anywhere in Chesterfield on trails. I mean, it's very nice. And this gives you our section here, seeing how it goes to the lake. The garages are in the rear. There's an alley that services the garage. And go ahead, next. Oh, okay, sorry, go back there. Okay. And in this community, we open it up for pre-sales. Our display, we're now framing the second floor. And we've already sold 14 of the 35 homes that will be available in this community. These homes start in the 900s and they go up to $1.5 million, $1.8 million in this area here. And again, I can tell you the people that I've talked to are so excited. They've been waiting for something like this to come to St. Louis, and it's very unique. And then this is Cottleville Trails. We hope to start sales in there. This is in Cottleville. It's been projected to open up at various times. We're waiting on final approval from FEMA so we can open up for sales. The improvements are in, the streets are in, and we hope that we'll be able to start sales in there late spring in this community. But again, we have an interest list that if you're interested and you have clients that this might work for them, join the VIP interest list so that we can give you updates on what's happening to this community. I believe there is close to we'll be building 90 homes, but in this community, I mean, obviously you'll see the lakes, there'll be a clubhouse, there'll be a beach that's going in here. Yes.
What's the price range gonna be?
We haven't finalized everything. We think in our section, we'll probably start high threes, low fours is our projection. But a lot that's going to depend on when we actually open up and can start there. And this will show you some of the amenities go through there. Like I say, there'll be a beach, and get back to a lake that will be recreational in this community. That's some of the things that will be going into Cottleville over here. And on our list here, I think how many people are on the list? 1,400 people that we have been conversing by with either verbally or by email to keep them updated what's going on in the community. So again, if you have somebody, join the list so that you'll be the first to know when we open up for sales there. And then something else that we have done, this is we'll build anywhere. And these are custom homes on custom home sites, the one-offs, that if you have that, if you know of a house that's a tear down candidate, give us a call. We'll take a look at it. We are always looking for those prime locations to build these homes. And Clyde Oliver handles the sales on those also. And is working out very well. And this took a big jump for us several years ago when a bank came to us to complete a community on DePere Road. And when we said, yes, we'll do that. We put Clyde in a trailer. He sold it. he sold about half the community off very quickly. And then the bank got sued by some of the existing homeowners there. And it took 7 years to get it going. Went all the way to the Supreme Court, and the bank and us won. But during that time period, we had all these people under contract. Said, well, would you build a home if I find a home site? We said, sure. And so I was able to convert half of those into these one-offs. And that's really when that division really took off. Okay, so this is our market homes. There's flyers and all this information of the market homes that we have. And this just gives you a brief listing of all those, and you'll receive those. Anything else? Oh, and then as a thank you for having us come to your office and making this presentation, any McKelvey home you sell in the next 30 days, you will receive a Visa gift card for $18.98. That's on a market home or a to be built. Okay.
Why 1898?
It's based on our founding year.
All right, there you go.
So again, it makes it a little bit more memorable because again, it's back into, the dates is important to us, and we're glad to share it.
Okay, very cool. Aaron, yeah, did you grab the mic from Clyde?
Yes, I
Yeah.
and stole it. So Charles, we have a couple of questions online. Denise is asking, are there any communities, I guess, future communities in Jefferson County? Any plans for that?
At the current time, we do not have any property under contract in Jefferson County. Not to say we won't, we just haven't hit the right opportunity.
Okay, perfect.
Right.
And
Anyone?
And yes, Gillette has some kudos for McKelvey. She says, greetings from Naperville. McKelvey built a great home for my son and his family in Windermere in 2020, and Sherry was fantastic to work with.
All right. Good. It was great.
Shaw, you have a question too?
I've seen a lot of McKelvey homes. I'm impressed. Along with the new things, is there any place that I can go to find where your older areas are? I mean, I really like it on the MLS when it tells me who the builder is. But sometimes when I'm looking for a home, I know there's some builders I don't want to sell their old homes, but McKelvey homes are different. Is there a way I can get a list of maybe things that are 10 to 15 years old?
I think we can put that together for you. Yeah, absolutely. We do have a list of all the homes we built, and it's fun that you mentioned older communities. Just this week, as we announced our 125th anniversary, we got an email. Our online sales consultant got an email. It was from a gentleman that bought a McKelvey home in 1950, and he showed us a picture of his home. And he was saying, it was spurred on. And so we emailed back, and he's now sent us more pictures of his home. And it was really neat. They enjoyed it, showed pictures of his family as they grew up through the years in their McKelvey home. So it was a lot of fun. And it's something that, again, we're very proud of our communities. They look good, and we'll put that list together for you. Make sure Aaron will give you, and then Matt, right? Oh, Carrie. Oh my God, yes.
I have a story about you.
Yeah. Wait, is it a good one?
That's very funny. Do we have any final comments or questions? All right, so I do have kind of a funny story. So years ago, when I was an agent, you were a member of what's called the Seven Figure Circle Club. Is that right? That uses new home.
Right.
And so as a matter, which means that years ago you sold a fairly significant number of new homes. And we did that. So the very first time that I was ever selling a new home, I walked in to a community, and they did go ahead and purchase. The name of the community was, I believe, Tall Oaks.
Salt Oaks, yeah.
And what were you doing at that time?
Back then I was selling homes.
You were the managing agent at
Yeah,
Tall
yeah.
Oaks. So really the very first new home I sold, which is such a funny coincidence on that, but this is a well-versed new homes guy, let me tell you. And it was great, went great years ago, but it is kind of a funny story.
Yeah, it is right next to Lafayette High School.
High school,
Right,
exactly,
right.
yeah. Now, wouldn't that be weird that I even remember who was manning that fort, you know, at the time? But at any rate, it was, so you made a good impression there.
Appreciate it. Thank
We've known
you.
each other over the years. Yeah, sure.
Question. You mentioned your new construction 101,
Mhm.
and how did we find out about that?
All you have to do is, get hold of Gia Wendell here. She is our, sales manager, of the company. And she'd be glad to arrange that between her and Shelley over here, that we can, put one together for you.
Yeah, that's a great idea. Why don't we touch base and do that? Because I mean, it is something where we have lots of new agents and it's a good idea. More questions? David? Yes, we do.
Right there. I sold my first McCovey home, it was about 3 years ago, and it was a great transaction all the way from the beginning to the end. And Sherry was the sales manager at that location too. I was impressed by when we were going through all the features, a lot of the features that now builders are charging extra for were already included in your sale price. So I think I try to tell my people that, you know, when you're looking at a McKelvey home, a lot of the things that are extras in other builders are included in your homes. So it kind of makes it better. Well, I mean, for me, it's better for me because my buyers don't have to be, you know, worried about having all these little extras on. But I was just curious too, maybe the salespeople can tell me, what are some of the trends that are going away? What are some of the trends that you see coming back? And hopefully one of them is gray is going away.
Green coming back.
Modern farmhouse is still well and alive. You know, the modern farmhouse is still alive and well. The grays do seem to be going away. More warm colors are coming back. Yeah, but the craftsman style is still around too, which is really interesting. Maybe that's the St. Louis trend. So many different craftsman styles in St. Louis. But yeah, more traditional.
And we're also seeing, a lot of the, LVP versus wood floors. And it goes back into, I know when people visit our, flooring company, they ask them their lifestyle. And if they have dogs, and a lot of kids, most of them are going to the LVP because it wears very well. And it looks like wood. The luxury vinyl plank, correct. And so I see that being around for a long time.
What's the one subdivision? Isn't your subdivision?
I hear ya.
Do you see in any of your communities, one of the communities that was a newer subdivision to add is actually out in Jefferson County? Most of the houses were white. White houses are dark houses. And you go through that subdivision, it just looks real, well, white and black. I mean, it looks weird. Do you encourage your buyers not to do all white, all dark? I mean, is that trend kind of going away?
The all white house with black windows and stuff.
Yeah.
That's,
Right.
yeah, that's the farm.
The modern farmhouse, white with the, black windows.
So that is still the trend.
That's popular, very popular.
The trend.
Oh,
Right.
You know what I mean? It's part of many trends that people do still like the gray, but they're leaning towards more of the other color schemes. Masonry is kind of coming back in a little bit more. Of course, all of our homes have a little bit of masonry on them.
right.
Right.
Yeah, we do a lot of stone on our homes. That craftsman style is still very popular. And we're starting to see, some of the more traditional brick and stone, coming back a little bit more. And then as we showed you, the latest thing with the Buzz is this modern look that we're doing out there at Waterfront. And that's got again, back to a lot of mixture of different types of products on the exterior. There's stone, there is, and that one, there's hardy, siding. There's also, it looks like wood, but it's not. It's Nietzsche, again, which is very popular that you saw. It looks like cedar or redwood on the front of the home. That's, no, it's not shake.
Looks like it.
No, it's more like plank, only it's flat. I mean, it's got grooves in it,
Right.
but it looks like a plank of wood. So it's a little bit different than that, but yeah.
Okay, all right, and I'm fine, a couple, maybe
Yeah,
final
just-
question or two for.
Did we pass that? We haven't-
Yeah, I think the drawing.
Just to speak to what you were saying, I just moved from Dallas a year ago. And I was here, moved there for a few years, came back, so I don't know if you're seeing a lot of out of towners, but the styles in other states are a lot more modern and farmhouse, and people that are moving want that same look. And it was kind of refreshing for me, having been there, where you see a lot of modern and very streamlined, and, you know, to see that coming here, because that, I think, would allow people coming from out of state to still feel like it's not just an old brick traditional St. Louis. I think it still have that same look when they're coming from these bigger cities. So I just think that's why maybe you're seeing a lot of people wanting that different look, because it's not so traditional St. Louis.
There's some good comments here.
Yeah, great. I think, in fact, I think we just sold somebody from Texas. Can't remember which community it was.
I've had.
Right.
They were here.
Right.
Alrighty, I think, is that,
Oh,
that's
That's
good.
it. We just need a drawing.
Okay, we're gonna do the drawing.
A quick side note while they do the drawing, to her account, McKelvey has many repeat buyers. But just as a little side note for you to tell people, McKelvey gives a $10,000 discount for someone who goes with us a second, third, fourth time. And that is a big incentive. That's also on top of any promotion that we may have going. So if you happen to get lucky enough to find somebody in one of those neighborhoods who wants to sell, maybe they'll build again.
Uh-oh.
All right, we do have two winners. Do you want me to announce, or do you want, can you get your, okay, oh, I know. David Rumpf. What are they winning, by the way?
Sandy's got it.
There you go. And winner number two, Violetus. Right over there in the blue, light blue. So great job. Thank you so much. Well, thank you for that presentation. I know this was a little bit longer than we typically go, but this, you know, we haven't done this in a long time, and it's great to see all the different locations, the areas, the pricing that maybe we haven't thought about before. So we're back, so great. Thank you so much for being here. It's good to see you. Been a long time, Charlie.
Sherry, I missed one more question.
One more comment? Okay.
Yes, Kim Evans is asking, are there any detached villas in the Chesterfield community?
Detached villas.
Well, it's not a villa, but they're single family areas. At Waterfront, they're not, they're single family ownership, but they are detached. And they range anywhere from 2,500 to 4,000 square feet. Okay. They are maintenance free.
You're gonna have to opt in on it.
Something we, again, this is a very good question, something that we have talked about, and we're in the process of changing the indentures of the community. We are going to make a provision at Waterfront that they can opt in for that exterior maintenance of grass cutting and those kinds of things. So that is in the process there. So if you have somebody interested, check with Clyde. We'll be changing those indentures, and it'll be a deal where they can opt into that kind of thing. Yeah, great, thank you.
All righty, how about a round of applause? They made a big effort being here, and we really do appreciate it. So we hope you will come again. You know, maybe in another 6 months or so. That would be great.
Maybe sooner.
Maybe
The
soon.
calendar.
There you go. There you go. All righty, thank you so much. As long as we're not going back to that avocado green refrigerator, I'm good. I'm good on that. What the heck? All right, we want to move on with a couple things. Aaron, let's jump into maybe a couple events we wanted to talk about. Would that be good?
Sure. So this is coming down the road, but we have, oh, I forgot to put the date. I think it's the 7th. Okay, so Randy Marie Penny, she's with Maris. She's wonderful. She's gonna do a workshop on matrix tips, new products, and I'm super excited. They're debuting a new mobile app for Maris. So I'm really excited about that. That app is not going to be live until February, but I have to double check the date. I think
We'll
it's
get the date on
February
that, but
7th.
yeah, that would be well worth your
Yeah.
time to
Yeah.
go to see the
Coming.
scale.
She's coming in person. We'll
Okay.
do it virtually as well. So yeah, I'm
Perfect,
excited.
perfect.
And then just a reminder, our corporate center sales awards ceremony, it's going to be Tuesday on March 7th. So please.
Yeah, please mark that.
Yes.
Yep, excellent.
Save the date.
Okay, and then we have a couple admin reminders. Is this gonna be you or Kristen, or where do we wanna go?
Probably a combination.
Okay.
I'll let Kristen run with the BC. And this one I don't think has a slide, Kristen, so you can just.
I'm gonna get out of sharing here.
Okay. Okay. She's multitasking.
Maybe.
That's right.
Let's see if I can share this on screen here. Get them out of here. I was thinking about you saying that if you were.
I think we have a slide for that then.
Okay, yes, let me get it up online.
Okay, I'll intro this a little bit. So when you're deciding on collecting, well, not deciding, but the BC, the 395 for the, buyers and sellers, it's important to communicate any changes to that to Kristen as well as the title company. And so basically I wanted her to kind of talk about the process of if you don't update that in time for closing, what could happen, just that.
Yeah, so I told Aaron, it could take up to 24 hours to change that. If you haven't done it already, that delays your payment very significantly. I try to change it as fast as I possibly can, but if I'm sitting there having to call the title company to find out why they didn't collect it, and then they come back and say it's MHDC, that's something that you probably could know a little ahead of time. Sometimes it does change the last minute, but that's the biggest example that I have that happens at the last minute. So I mean, 24 hours, that's a long time because I have to go in, do a my deals change, tell them it's not being paid anymore. Then I have to go in and do a request for a new, we call it an SIS that shows all the payments that are going to be made to you and to CBG.
All right, so let's cut to the chase.
Yeah.
The deal is this, the money that comes in has to match the money that you say is coming in. If they don't match and they don't sync, then we have to correct it in order to make it sync. So don't be casual, I guess is what Kristen is saying about slop it out there on this or that, because sometimes it's like, oh, it's easy to just put it in there like, yes, it is coming in, or no, it isn't, or whatever the reason is. But if they don't match, then it doesn't sync. And just like an accountant, which Kristen kind of works on that basis, if it doesn't match, then we have to get to the bottom of it, because the two numbers need to coincide and then be updated. So I think if we understood the back side of how the money comes in and how it is then turned around and goes out, it's very helpful. And we know nobody's doing this on purpose, but it's just like sometimes like an ounce of prevention, is helpful in creating the lack of a delay, if that makes sense. So any questions, call up front and let her know. Kristen's all over it. She knows what's, when to tag you on, hey, yeah, pay attention here, that sort of thing. But please do that because it is important. Are you at home getting that? Are you good on that at home?
And
Just-
I just want to add too,
Good.
with the my deals, that's where we know you're putting in their client to pay.
Good.
There are two though. If you have the listing and the sales side, you are going to be putting that in twice. If they do not match, I will know to ask you which one is it. But if they both match, I'm not going to ask.
Right.
So
Just so it all syncs, that's the name of the game, because we balance, that's what we do. All right, and the next one, yeah, we like that. Good job, Kristen. I'm telling you. All
just to
right.
be proactive,
All right, and do we, because it's running late, Aaron, which of these next 3 or 4 topics do you want to
I'll just
pick on and go forward with?
Yeah, a really quick
Okay.
reminder, there was a change to the legal assistance program, that fee, and they did change it to 65, so that's just a, reminder. We'll wait on the auto pay for next time. And then lead-based paint, we can wait on that too, but Kristen has it up, so do you want me to go through?
Sure, let's do the lead-based paint, because this also
Yes.
is a dot your I situation.
And there, we'll, on the other side, we have a couple slides why this is so important, but let's go through. Just a reminder, when you have the seller, I kind of highlighted the sections you absolutely need. You've got to have the property address, the seller's disclosure section. You're only marking what's applicable, and you should choose one option in section A and one option in section B. Kristen, Sherry, and I might flag you if you're missing that checkbox. Okay, so make sure you've got that. And then below that, the agent's acknowledgement section, you need to have your initials. And then, of course, the seller's signature section, that side on the right side is for the sellers. Okay, now let's go ahead and scroll down to the buyer side.
Kind of looks like Aaron has scribbled all over
I
this.
I
Kind of
did.
looks like Molly in London, my grandchildren's paperwork here. Okay,
Thank you, Sherry.
it's very good though, very well done.
And I color coded it. Yes.
Excellent.
So we have orange for the buyer. Just also a reminder, if you have the buyer and you notice there's mistakes for the seller, you're still responsible for both sides of the information. Like if they're missing something, we have to have that as well. So just throwing that out there. You have to include the contract date. That's not that hard to fix. I know we've, flagged that a few times recently. Send it through DocuSign and add your contract date. The buyer's acknowledgement section, again, it's only what's applicable. A lot of people try to check on line 25. That's only if the seller checked in section B, seller has provided the buyer with all available reports. Most of the time, section B says seller has no reports or records pertaining to lead-based paint. So you wouldn't check section or initial section 20 or line 25. I can't talk to you. So line 25 would be blank. And then you would initial line 26 that they received the pamphlet. Of course, you need to send that. And then we've got the line 27, check one below. They do need to initial line 27 and then select an option, either line 28 or 30. So again, well, we'll go through this in a minute, but we need to make sure that we have all of those completed. And then, of course, the buyer section on the left. And Denise is asking, is lead-based paint required for after 1978 or 79? It's 1978. Okay,
Good question, Denise.
yes, and she says she gets pushback on that, so it's 78 is the date.
And I don't ask for it if it was built after 78, if you didn't send it in.
But if you send it in, it needs to be correct.
Yes.
So if
Yeah.
you're sending it in, the document needs to be accurate.
So if you start to fill it out and you send it in, and then you say, oh, I don't need this because the house is older, is newer than I thought it was, you can't stop and you can't turn in a half partially completed form. Is that right, Aaron? Is that how that works?
That's correct.
It's right.
That
Okay.
is correct. And
Excellent.
We need all the information, yes. And the reason why we have you do the listing first, when you have your listing, the site first is so that we can be kind of proactive and catch it before it gets to the buyer side, before it goes
Yeah,
out.
we're
first.
good at that. We're pretty good at
We
that.
try, we
Yeah.
try. Now, Sherry found some reasons why we're so, well, it's to protect you also, but Kristen's gonna pull up some slides on why.
You might ask, why is this important? You might say that.
Yes, very important.
This is why.
Oh, sure.
Can you see it online?
Yes, we see it online.
Can
Okay.
can you read that
Yes.
for those who can't read?
Okay, so it says the director of
That's
the
close.
Office of Lead Hazard Control and Health Homes or his or her designee may initiate a civil money penalty action against any person who knowingly violates blah, 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 amount of penalty. The maximum penalty is 19,507 for each violation. That's each line that is not correct.
Who's
So,
responsible to pay that, Aaron?
the agent.
The agent.
Yeah.
This is an agent pay.
Chris says the broker, but it's not true.
The broker does not pay, the client does not pay. I mean, nobody pays except the agent if you get tagged on that. For every initial and every check mark and every signature you missed, that is up to the cost. Okay, and is there one more slide or what's
We
that?
have one more.
Okay,
And it's the maximum penalty is $200,000 fine and 1 year in prison. So this is a federal form and it's important to be accurate. So that's kind of why.
all right, so it's only 1 year in prison and 200,000.
Totally.
So it's not that bad, you know, so if you mess up, but if you don't have it, it's important. You know, that, I mean, that would be my opinion. Maybe a nice year off would be a good break for you, but whatever. All right. That's why we rag on you about it. It's like, come on, guys, you really gotta do this carefully, and that's why we want you to complete it, because we don't want this to happen. Is that true?
Oh, Sherry has, or I'm sorry, Kathy has comments.
Kathy has something?
Just a quick standpoint, notation from someone who gets a lot of contracts in, since I do the listing side and I review them. The missing initials or missing X boxes or both on lead paint forms is the number one thing we have to request as we're negotiating a contract or after we get an accepted contract. So you guys, you know, back of my mind, when those come in perfect, I'm like, oh, that's really good. I just had one accepted that Bev wrote, perfect. So
Yeah,
I'm
Beverly
just,
is
it's
so
just an
deep.
irritation.
Yeah.
We have to housekeep that. And sometimes we ask 3 or 4 times before we finally get it because we're all busy. So just FYI, that's the number one thing. So maybe check your lead paint twice because someone might be assessing you on the other end.
Yeah, and you know, sometimes I think they don't know, agents on the other side may not know, well, should I check this box or that box? Should I say that I gave them everything when I have nothing to give them? Well, just say you have nothing to give them. I mean, there are answers to this if you read the documentation, but it is fun when we get a form, like Kathy just said, and it's correct. We're like, oh my gosh, it's correct. It's great. It really is. And it does not happen as frequently as you might think, you know, we're pretty well versed in this office. So, but good point, very good point. That is what's missing. Good tips, Erin. Excellent. All right, and is that it for today or not?
Yeah, we'll stop there.
Okay, we're gonna pick up the other stuff. All right, now if you are at home, oh, more? We got more. We got more. Hold on. Yolanda, hold on.
Just a quick reminder, I'm on the Missouri board, and if we have our meeting starting this afternoon.
Oh,
If you have anything you would like brought to the Missouri board, complaints, comments, requests, please email them to me and I will present those to whatever committee they should go to.
okay. And do not email her that you don't like the lead-based paint form. That would not be an option for you to email her.
I think the lead-based form is stupid.
What? Say it again.
I just feel the flood-based form is stupidest damn form because we've got so many problems, so many issues. Every time I go through this thing, whether buyer or seller, either side, I think it needs to be more simplified or revised because it's terrible.
Who would you talk to about that? Thank you, Lita, for your input. We all get frustrated because forms are challenging at some time, and sometimes we don't see the backside of why we're doing that. And yes, sometimes they are outdated, but until they are not outdated or removed, we are obligated to perform. But if you have any complaints about anything, the water, anything, the weather, right over here, Shaw. Okay, Sue.
Just one other thing about the lead-based paint form, we get an awful lot of them where there's no sale contract date at the top. Everybody.
The date is missing.
Yes, very common.
Okay.
And it's turned into me the same way.
Then it's turned in and it gets flat. Yes.
All right, we're good. So now, if you're at home, are you listening? Is everybody at home on board here? Yolanda is speaking for the whole group and she says everybody is listening. And that would be more than 20 people. So thank you very much, because I do want you to listen about this. Today at 4:30. So today, Tuesday at 4:30, we would like you to tune in to a Teams meeting that is specific to this office. So if you are able, I want you to tune in. Erin will be sending out a Teams invitation. You do not need to be in the office to jump on Teams, as 20 of you plus at home realize. You can jump on wherever you are. So at 4:30 today, I would very much like you to be on the Teams meeting. All right? Good. Anybody, have a problem with getting on that?
Yeah, can't you just?
No, that's wonderful. I love it when we're all in cooperation. Okay, so we will see you at the Teams meeting, 4:30 on your computer today. All righty. Thank you, guys. I appreciate very much you being here today. I appreciate very much your attendance at 4:30. All right?
Denise is saying it cuts into her tractor time. Sure.
Cuts into or what?
Her tractor.
It probably does. Just, it will be a short meeting, so no despair. All right? All righty. Thanks, guys. Thanks for being here. Everybody online, open up those windows. Let us see you. Excellent to see you guys. Some of you we haven't seen. Terry, you're looking good. I'm telling you.
The doctor's appointment.
At 4:30?
Turn it on, you just tell me.
Okay, bye, guys. See you.